Chapter 9. You totally want the minibar key. Would it surprise you to learn that the place was bigger on the inside? The foyer alone could have been the world's largest hunting lodge. A space twice as big as the mansion appeared on the outside. An acre of hardwood floor was covered with exotic animal skins, zebra, lion, and a 40-foot-long reptile that I wouldn't want to have met when it was alive. Against the right wall, a fire crackled in a bedroom-sized hearth. In front of it, a few high school-age guys in fluffy green bathrobes lounged on overstuffed leather couches, laughing and drinking from silver goblets. Over the mantel hung the stuffed head of a wolf. Oh, joy, I thought with a shudder. More wolves. Columns made from rough-hewn tree trunks held up the ceiling, which was lined with spears for rafters. Polished shields gleamed on the walls. Light seemed to radiate from everywhere, a warm golden glow that hurt my eyes like a summer afternoon after a dark theater. In the middle of a foyer, a freestanding display board announced, "Today's activities. Single combat to the death. Oslo room, 10 a.m. Group combat to the death. Stockholm room, 11 a.m. Buffet lunch to the death. Dining hall, 12 p.m. Full army combat to the death. Main courtyard, 1 p.m. Bikram yoga to the death. Copenhagen room, bring your own mat, 4 p.m. The doorman hunting said something, but my head was ringing so badly I missed it. Sorry, I said what? Luggage, he repeated. Do you have any? I reached for my shoulder strap. My backpack had apparently not been resurrected with me. No. Hunding grunted. No one brings luggage anymore. Don't they put anything on your funeral pyre? My what? Never mind. He scowled toward the far corner of the room where an overturned boat keels served as the reception desk. Guess there's no putting it off. Come on. The man behind the keel apparently used the same barber as Hunding. His beard was so big it had its own zip code. His hair looked like a buzzard that had exploded on a windshield. He was dressed in a four-screen pinstripe suit. His name tag read, Helgi, Manager, East Gothland, Volume team member since 749 CE. Welcome! Helgi glanced up from his computer screen. Checking in? You realize check-in time is 3 p.m., he said. If you die earlier in the day, I can't guarantee your room will be ready. Well, I can just go back to being alive, I offered. No, he tapped on the keyboard. Here we are. He grinned, revealing exactly 3 teeth. We've upgraded you to a suite. Next to me, Hundig muttered something under his breath. Everyone is upgraded to a suite. All we have are suites. Hunding, warned the manager. Sorry, sir. You don't want me to use the stick? Hunding winced. No, sir. I looked back and forth between them, checking their name tags. You guys started working here the same year? I noted 749. What is CE? Common error, said the manager. What you might call AD. Then why don't you just say AD? Because Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, is fine for Christians, but Thor gets a little upset. He still holds a grudge that Jesus never showed up for that duel he challenged him to. Say what now? It's not important, Helgi said. How many keys would you like? Is one sufficient? I still don't get where I am. If you guys have been here since 749, that's over 1,000 years. Don't remind me, Hunding grumbled. But that's impossible, and you said I'm dead, and I don't feel dead, I feel fine. Sir, Helgi said, all will be explained tonight at dinner. That's when the new guests are formally welcomed. Valhalla! The words surfaced from the depth of my brain. A half-remembered story my mom had read to me when I was little. The HV on your lapel, the V stands for Valhalla? Helgi's eyes made it clear I was straining his patience. Yes, sir, the Hotel Valhalla. Congratulations, you've been chosen to join the hosts of Odin. I looked forward to hearing about your brave exploits at dinner. My legs buckled. I leaned on the desk for support. I'd been trying to convince myself this was all a mistake, some elaborate theme hotel where I'd been mistaken for a guest, and now I wasn't so sure. Dead. I mumbled. You mean I'm actually... Here's your room key. Helgi handed me a stone engraved with a single Viking rune, like the stones in Uncle Randolph's library. Would you like the minibar key? He wants the minibar key, Hunding answered for me. Kid, you want the minibar key. It's going to be a long stay. My mouth tasted like copper. How long? Forever, Helgi said, or at least until Ragnarok. Hunting will now show you your room. Enjoy your afterlife. Next! Chapter 10. My room does not suck. I wasn't paying the closest attention as Hunding guided me through the hotel. I felt as if I'd been spun around 50 times, then released into the middle of a circus and told to have fun. Each hall we walked through seemed bigger than the one before. Most of the hotel guests looked like they were in high school, though some looked slightly older. Guys and girls sat together in small groups, lounging in front of the fireplaces, chatting in many different languages, eating snacks or playing board games like chess and Scrabble and something that involved real daggers and a blowtorch. Peeking into the side lounges, I spotted pool tables, pinball machines, an old-fashioned video arcade, and something that looked like an Iron Maiden from a torture chamber. Staff members in green shirts moved among the guests, bringing platters of food and pitchers of drink. As far as I could tell, all the servers were buff female warriors with shields on their backs and swords or axes on their belts, which is not something you see a lot in the service industry. One heavily armed waitress passed me with a steaming plate of egg rolls. My stomach rumbled. How can I be hungry if I'm dead? I asked Hunding. None of these people look dead. Hunding shrugged. Well, there's dead, and then there's dead. Think of Valhalla more like an upgrade. You're one of the Inheryar now. He pronounced the word like Inheryar. Inheryar, I repeated, just rolls right off the tongue. Yeah, singular. Inherji. He said it like Inheryi. We're the chosen one of Odin, soldiers in his eternal army. The word Inheryar is usually translated as lone warriors, but that doesn't really capture the meaning. It's more like the once warriors. Warriors who fought bravely in the last life and will fight bravely again on the day of doom. Duck! The day of doom, duck. No, duck! Hunding pushed me down as a spear flew past. It impaled a guy sitting on the nearest sofa, killing him instantly. Drinks, dice, Monopoly money flew everywhere. The people he had been playing with rose to their feet, looking mildly annoyed, and glared in the direction that the spear came from. I saw that, John Redhand, Hunding yelled. The lounge is a no impaling area. From the billiard room, somebody laughed and called back in Swedish. He didn't sound very remorseful. Anyway, Hunding resumed walking as if nothing had happened. The elevators are right over here. Wait, I said, that guy was just murdered with a spear. Aren't you going to do anything? The wolves will clean up. My pulse went into double time. Wolves? Sure enough, while the other Monopoly players were sorting their pieces, a pair of gray wolves bounded into the lounge, grabbed the dead man by his legs, and dragged him away, the spear still sticking out of his chest. The trail of blood evaporated instantly, and the perforated sofa mended itself. I cowered behind the nearest potted plant. I don't care how that sounds. My fear simply took control. These wolves didn't have glowing blue eyes like the animals that had attacked my apartment, but still I wish I had ended up in an afterlife where their mascot was a gerbil. Aren't there any rules against killing? I asked in a small voice. Hunding raised a bushy eyebrow. That was just a bit of fun, boy. The victim will be fine by dinner. He pulled me out of my hiding place. Come on. Before I could ask more about that bit of fun, we reached an elevator. Its caged door was made out of spears. Overlapping gold shields lined the wall. The control panel had so many buttons it stretched from the floor to the ceiling. The highest number was 540. Hunding pressed 19. How can this place have 540 floors, I asked. It would be the tallest building in the world. If it only existed in one world, yes, but it connects with all 9 worlds. You just came through Midgard entrance. Most mortals do. Midgard. I vaguely remembered something about the Vikings believing in 9 different worlds. Randolph had used the term worlds, too, but it had long time since my mom read me those Norse bedtime stories. You mean like the world of humans? Hunding took a breath and recited, 540 floors has Valhalla, 544 doors leading out into the 9 worlds. He grinned. You never know when or where we'll have to march off to war. Well, how often has that happened? Well, never, but still it could happen at any time. I, for one, can't wait. Finally, Helgi will have to stop punishing me. The manager, what's he punishing you for? Long story. He and I... The elevator spear cage door rolled open. Forget it. Hunding clapped me on the back. You'll like floor 19. Good hall mates. I'd always thought of hall corridors as dark, depressing, and claustrophobic. Floor 19? Not so much. The vaulted ceiling was 20 feet tall, lined with, you guessed it, more spears for rafters. Valhalla had apparently gotten a good deal at the spear wholesale warehouse. Torches burned in iron sconces, but they didn't seem to make any smoke. They just cast warm orange light across the wall, displays of swords, shields, and tapestries. The hall was so wide you could have played a regulation soccer game, no problem. The blood-red carpet had tree branch designs that moved as if swaying in the wind. Set about 50 feet apart, each guest room door was rough-hewn oak bound in iron. I didn't see any doorknobs or locks. In the center of each door, a plate-sized iron circle was inscribed with a name surrounded by a ring of Viking ruins. The first read, Halfborn Gunderson. Behind that door, I heard shouting and metal clanging like a sword fight was in progress. The next read, Mallory Keene. Behind that door, silence. Then, Thomas Jefferson Jr. The popping of gunfire came from inside, though it sounded more like a video game than the actual thing. Yes, I've heard both. The fourth door was simply marked X. In front, a room service cart sat in the hallway with a severed head of a pig on a silver platter. The pig's ears and the nose looked slightly nibbled. Now, I'm not a food critic. Being homeless, I can never afford to be. But I draw the line at pig heads. We'd almost reached the T at the end of the hall when a large blackbird shot around the corner and zipped past me, almost clipping my ear. I watched the bird disappear down the hall, a raven with a notepad and pen in its talons. What was that? I asked. A raven, Hunding said, which I found very helpful. Finally, we stopped at a door inscribed Magnus Chase. Seeing my name written in iron, inscribed with runes, I started to tremble. My last hope, this might be a mistake, birthday prank or cosmic mix-up, finally evaporated. The hotel was expecting me. They spelled my name right and everything. For the record, Magnus means great. My mom named me because our family was descended from Swedish kings or something a billion years ago. Also, she said I was the greatest thing that ever happened to her. I know. 1, 2, 3. Aww. It was an annoying name to have. People tended to spell it Mengus, which rhymes with Angus. I always corrected them. No, it's Magnus, rhymes with Swagness. At which point, they would stare at me blankly. Anyway, there was my name on the door. Once I went through, I would be checked in. According to the manager, I would have a new home until doomsday. Go ahead, Hunding pointed at the runestone key in my hand. The symbol looked like an infinity side or a sideways hourglass. It's Dagaz, Hunding said. Nothing to be afraid of. It symbolizes new beginnings, transformations. It also opens the door. Only you have access. I swallowed. Well, what if, for instance, the staff wants to get in? Oh, we use the staff key. Hunding patted the axe on his belt. I couldn't tell if he was kidding. I held up the runestone. I didn't want to try it, but I also didn't want to stand in the hallway until I got impaled by a random spear or injured by a raven hit and run. Instinctively, I touched the stone to the matching Dagaz mark on the door. The ring of runes glowed green, and then my door swung open. I stepped inside, and my jaw hit the floor. This suite was nicer than any place I'd ever lived. Nicer than any place I'd ever visited, including Uncle Randolph's mansion. In a trance, I moved to the middle of the suite, where a central atrium was open to the sky. My shoes sank into the thick green grass. 4 large oak trees ringed the garden like pillars. The lower branches spread into the room across the ceiling, interweaving with the rafters. The taller branches grew up through the opening of the atrium, making a canopy. Sunlight warmed my face. A pleasant breeze wafted through the room, bringing the smell of jasmine. How? I stared at Hunding. Hundreds of floors are above us, but that's an open sky, and it's in the middle of winter. How can it feel sunny and warm? Hunding shrugged. I don't know. Magic. But this is your afterlife, boy. You've earned some perks, eh? Had I? I didn't feel particularly perk-worthy. I turned in a slow circle. The suite was shaped like a cross, with 4 sections radiating from the central atrium. Each wing was as large as my old apartment. One was the entry hall which we'd come in. The next was a bedroom with a king-size bed. Despite its size, the room was spare and simple. A beige comforter and fluffy-looking pillows on the wall, beige walls with no artwork or mirrors or other decoration, and heavy brown curtains could be drawn to close off the space. I remembered when I was a kid how my mom used to make my room as no frills as possible. I'd always find it hard to sleep indoors unless I had total darkness and nothing to distract me. Looking at this bedroom, I felt like somebody had reached into my mind and pulled out exactly what I needed to be comfortable. The wing to the left was a dressing area / bathroom tiled in black and beige, my favorite colors. The perks included a sauna, a hot tub, a walk-in closet, a walk-in shower, and a walk-in toilet. Just kidding on the last one, but it was a fancy throne, suitable for the honored dead. The suite's fourth wing was a full kitchen and living room. At the end of the living room, a big leather couch faced a plasma screen TV with about 6 different game systems stacked in the media cabinet. On the other side, 2 recliners sat in front of a crackling fireplace and a wall of books. Yes, I like to read. I'm weird that way. Even after dropping out of school, I spent a lot of time in the Boston Public Library, learning random stuff just to pass the time in a warm, safe place. For 2 years, I had missed my old book collections. I never seriously thought I would have one again. I walked over to check out the titles on the shelves. Then I noticed the picture frame in silver on the fireplace mantel. Something like a bubble of helium made its way up into my esophagus. No way. I picked up the photo. It showed me at age 8 and my mom at the summit of Mount Washington in New Hampshire. That had been one of the best trips of my life. We'd asked a park ranger to take the photo. In the shot, I was grinning, which I don't do much anymore, showing off my missing 2 front teeth. My mom knelt behind me with her arms wrapped around my chest, her green eyes crinkling at the corners, her freckles dark from the sun, and her blonde hair swept sideways by the wind. This is impossible, I murmured. There was only one copy of this picture. It burned in the fire. I turned to Hunding, who was wiping his eyes. You okay? He cleared his throat. Yeah, of course. Fine. The hotel likes to provide you with keepsakes, reminders of your old life. Photographs. Under his beard, his mouth might have been quivering. Back when I died, they didn't have photographs. It's just, you're lucky. No one had called me lucky in a very long time. The idea shook me out of my daze. I'd been without my mom for 2 years. I'd been dead, or upgraded, for only a few hours. This bellhop from Saxony had been here since 749 CE. I wondered how he died and what family he'd left behind. 1,200 years later, he was still getting teary-eyed about them, which seemed like a cruel way to spend an afterlife. Hunding straightened and wiped his nose. Enough of that. If you have any questions, call the front desk. I look forward to hearing about your brave exploits tonight at dinner. My brave exploits? Now, don't be modest. You wouldn't have been chosen unless you did something heroic. But, been a pleasure serving you, sir, and welcome to the Hotel Valhalla. He held out his palm. It took me a second to realize he wanted a tip. I dug into my jacket pockets, not expecting to find anything. Miraculously, the chocolate bar that I'd swiped from Uncle Randolph's house was still there, undamaged from the trip through the great beyond. I gave it to Hunding. Sorry, that's all I have. His eyes turned the size of drink coasters. Gods of Asgard, thank you, kid! He sniffed the chocolate and held it up like a holy chalice. Wow, okay, you need anything, you let me know. Your Valkyrie will come get you right before dinner. Wow! My Valkyrie? Wait, I don't have a Valkyrie. Hunding laughed, his eyes still fixed on the chocolate bar. Yeah, if I had your Valkyrie, I'd say the same thing. She's caused her share of trouble. What do you mean? See you tonight, kid. Hunding headed for the door. I got things to eat. Do. Try not to kill yourself before dinner.